What's going on, guys, and welcome back to LOI TV. Now today we are going to be reacting to last night's game. Bit of an emotional one last night. We're just gonna jump right into it straight away. Socko, talk to me about how you're feeling right now. What's the emotion?
Really upset.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best we played the whole qualifying campaign. It's just a pity we saved that performance for the last game.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone on the field played badly. Randolph had a brilliant game. We'll get right into the player ratings in a little while. On that last 5 minutes, I've never felt so excited to be in the stadium. The atmosphere was electric.
Absolutely.
Really proud of the performance, but really upset.
Because we started off brightly enough. We were actually surprising to see. I nearly fell out of my chair seeing us playing a few passes around. But it does beg the question of why we weren't playing like that for the whole campaign. And I think on the basis of the whole campaign, we probably don't deserve to go through, considering a lot of our performances in games against Georgia away was one of the worst games of football I've ever watched in my life. Switzerland, the way we were poor, but the conditions were hard. But there's the same for both teams. We were poor in that game. So I think it was improved yesterday. There was still, I think I've seen a lot of praise for the performance, where I think we need to kind of get a bit of a reality check to kind of sugarcoat on the whole campaign a little bit with one good performance. There was still a lot of things that could have been improved on. So obviously start off at Randolph. Didn't really put a foot wrong, to be fair to him.
No, I couldn't do much about that goal now. His kick-out's very good. He had one or two really good saves.
His distribution's always top notch as well.
Didn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, so if you had to give him a rating of maybe a 7,
yeah,
7's pretty fair. Doherty then was very impressive, to be fair, in Coleman's absence. He was probably, it's one of those ones where you're missing one of your best players, but Doherty's probably one of our best players as well, so it's like stepping in for each other. So they tried out earlier in the campaign, Doherty playing in like right midfield and stuff like that, and it wasn't really working out, so it's kind of one or the other really. And I'd nearly stick with Doherty over Coleman now for going on nearly.
Yeah, he was totally at fault for Denmark's goal. He completely lost your man coming behind him. But I guess you could argue he more than made up for that with the header with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
But apart from that lapse in concentration, he didn't put a foot wrong the whole game.
Yeah. So I'll probably give him 6, 7. 7. If the goal, if you had a 1-1-0, it'd be an 8 or a 9 probably.
10.
Yeah. Shane Duffy down at centre half, captain on the night. I think he's getting away a little bit for the goal as well. I think he's getting away with it a little bit because he's actually playing them on side. He's 3 yards behind our defensive line, so I think he's getting away with it a little bit as well. That ball in behind went by him, and obviously well onside for Braithwaite to put it in. So Duffy, he's always going to be one of the most solid performers on the pitch, really. Yeah,
he had a brilliant block in the first half when I can't remember which Denmark player took the shot. It was heading right for the top corner, down the singing section, but Shane Duffy got his back in the way. He rose, headed the ball away a good 5 or 6 times, crucial moments in the game. In my opinion, I thought he had a really good game, but Doherty and Duffy, it was that 5-second lapse in concentration which cost us that goal.
Yeah. Then beside Duffy, then John Egan for the first 45 minutes, taken off at half time. But to be fair to Kieran Clark, he came in and did a solid job as well beside him.
He didn't do much wrong the whole game. Missed a very good header in the second half. He put kind of well over the bar. I think as a defender he should be doing better. But that was one of the biggest chances in the game where
Absolutely.
We only had 2 or 3 really good chances.
100%. Yeah, John Egan going off was a bit worrying. He was playing. He looked very comfortable. Probably just give them both the 6, considering they only had a half each. Probably fair enough. Then Enda Stevens, I actually was impressed by. He did very well for our goal. Good ball into the box. Good assist.
Brilliant ball.
So, I was impressed by him. Good performance. Probably a 7. I think it's pretty fair. Moving into the midfield, then starting off with sitting in front of the back 4, Glenn Whelan was going into it. I was hoping it would be his last game in an Ireland jersey, considering I was hoping we'd get to the Euros. He probably wouldn't be involved, but probably will be involved for the playoffs now, I'd say, more than likely.
Definitely, he's one of the most important players in the pitch for us. I think it was his 81st cap last night. I thought he played brilliant. He had a few brilliant interceptions. He was passing the ball around. A few people in the crowd were saying it was like Iniesta out there, which is funny. But I thought he played brilliant. I'd say probably 8.
He always keeps things neat and tidy, kind of simple enough, but does the right things.
Nothing flashy.
Never shuts up. He's always talking around and stuff. So yeah, he's definitely an important player for us, and probably 8 is fair considering. Yeah, he can have his bad games, of course, but I thought he was good last night, and he looked tuned in, and
it was that experience.
Ericsson kept very quiet.
Very quiet, yeah.
Then in front of Whelan, we had starting off with Jeff Hendrick, who I thought was absolutely horrendous. I'm not a fan of him at all. I think he's a poor player. I don't know how he's playing in the Premier League, to be honest. I think he's stealing a living.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Ross. I don't think he played well at all last night. He kept giving the ball away. He kept making silly passes.
I thought he should have been taken off instead of the man we're going to talk about next, Conor Hourihane. He was very disappointed to be taken off around the 60-minute mark, I think it was. He was taken off. He was kind of, he had a chance in the first half, decent, got into a good area.
Probably our best chance in the game, I'd say. 10 yards out, put it straight at Schmeichel's feet. Thought he should have done better.
Yeah, he's kind of coming at it from a weird angle for his favourite left foot, but should have probably put it either side of Schmeichel. Had a good chance of going in, but
should have used his right foot and put it near post.
Yeah. He is always. I think he should have. I thought it was a baffling decision that he came off instead of Hendrick, to be honest. I think he had a lot more to give the game in that last half hour. His set pieces and his crossing can cause problems. We've seen that for Aston Villa this season, and he's a good long range striker with the ball. So I was very, very surprised to see him come off. You could see he was disappointed walking around the back end of the goal. He wasn't even clapping the fans. I think you could just see how disgusted he was. So yeah, disappointing for him to come off. I think he had a lot more to give the game, but I think on the basis of it, I think you can't give him more than a 6, really.
Yeah, I agree.
He didn't do an awful lot. On the right hand side then, Alan Brown, I was surprised to see him in the starting lineup ahead of Callum Robinson. I thought that was a strange shout, but he didn't do too badly. I didn't think he did.
No,
okay.
I thought he did okay. It was probably the biggest talking point before the match, his inclusion in the starting 11. He had a brilliant chance there in the first half, a half volley, maybe hopeful from like 25 yards, just didn't go too far wide, but I thought he played well.
No, I'd still probably give him a 6. What would you think?
6.5.
So yeah, I think he didn't do enough maybe. Then the other side, then James McLean, he'll always wear his heart in the sleeve, and he'll always run himself into the ground, but he is lacking in quality at this stage. And I think there's another night of where statistics with giving the ball away was astonishing how much he gave the ball away. But at the same time, I'll never question McLean because of his commitment to the jersey. He'll always give you 100%, and he's given me probably the best moment I'll ever witness live in a football match ever, so I'm never going to say too many bad words about him, to be honest.
The final ball, the final third, it has to be there, and it just wasn't there last night. You can run yourself into the ground as much as you want, and we'd always respect that, but there's just a bit of quality lacking. Definitely. I would never say too many bad things about him, I don't think, because he always will give his 100% for the jersey. Moving on to the final player then of the starting lineup, David McGoldrick. Again, I felt like he had a good game, but I think there was times when, especially coming to the end of the game, he was finding himself on either flank, and he's kind of like trying to cross the ball in. He's nearly trying to do too much, whereas like we need him in the middle. He's our lone striker. We need him in the box. Like, yeah, he's trying to cross it in. Do you remember the Switzerland goal when we drew 1-1? He was in there, knocks in with his head. So I think he was trying to do a little bit too much maybe at times. But I do think he is a very good footballer, a good striker, and he had a good chance with on the half volley, put it over the bar, I think it was. Yeah, that was another huge chance. Huge opportunity. As you said, Ross, that's another player I think who got like a little bit too much praise than maybe deserved. That chance he blazed over the bar was a huge opportunity for us. Should have done better. Didn't really get much of a sniff last night. Didn't get much ball into him. But then the final third of the match, he was putting crosses in from the left and the right side, where ideally you'd want him on the end of those. Absolutely. In terms of the substitutions that came on, we already talked about Kieran Clark, and he had a decent enough game. Sean Maguire came on, and I was disappointed in him, to be honest. He looked a little bit out of his depth. I always find in the international level, when the game's slowed down, he kind of gets a little bit exposed because his touch is not really up to standard. When in the championship it's a bit more quicker paced, balls in behind, so it kind of suits his game a little bit more. But when it's a slow paced game and you're trying to break a team down a bit of quality, I think he lacks that a little bit. Callum Robinson came on. Of course, sorry, yeah. I think he should have started the game, to be honest. He never really got into it enough. Yeah, looking in the aftermath of the game, I think Richie Sadlier made a very good point that when it comes down to it, you need to be putting scores past Georgia and Gibraltar. Switzerland and Denmark, I hit 5 or 6 past Gibraltar when they played them. At the end of it, you have to look and say, did we deserve to qualify? And as much as it hurts to say it, probably not.
Probably not.
The playoffs await us in March, but just gonna have to pick ourselves up after this and go again.
Yeah, I think that Denmark team, I think especially with them making 2 changes in the first half through injury, I think they were there for the taking last night. They were poor. I'm not sure if it's a case of whether Ireland played really, really well or whether Denmark were really just that bad, so it's kind of hard to know. Yeah, I think it's just have to kind of forget about it now, move on to the playoffs. How are you feeling for that?
Move on to the playoffs. This video is going out probably when the matches tonight, Tuesday night, are going on, so we won't know until maybe 11 o'clock who we are going to play in the semi-final. The semi-final will be the middle of March, and then the final will be the end of March. It's looking like it could be, is it Slovakia, Wales?
Probably it's going to be Slovakia, I think. Yeah, I think Wales should win tonight.
There was a lot of people arguing that you shouldn't be giving teams like always one more chance and one more chance. Like if you don't you could argue that if we do win that playoff place, it might feel like we didn't deserve it. It's weird only qualifying in March for like a tournament starting in the June. Yeah, it kind of feels like that. Don't get me wrong, I'd absolutely take your hand off for a place at the Euros, but it's a weird feeling. Always getting one more chance. I just want to say as well, the fans were absolutely brilliant last night. Even at full time, they stayed back for a good 20 minutes applauding the team when Doherty headed that goal in at the end. The feeling around the ground was absolutely brilliant. Nobody stopped singing, and we really thought we were going to get that winner, but it just wasn't to be. But the fans were exceptional as always. Like.
Yeah, no, the feeling. It felt like there was something else coming after that, didn't it? It really felt like there was going to be another goal just to the side. It would have been amazing. Like, it would have been such a good win if we had a goal. We probably deserved it, obviously, in the game, but just touching back on the emotion now, it's sunk in a little bit. I didn't want to do any videoing at the match because I didn't want to. You kind of want to let it sink in a little bit just before, because I would have been, I don't know, I would have been overly critical or overly in praise or something, I don't know. So I just wanted to take a little while to sink in, watch the highlights back and stuff. So after sitting on it for a little while, I don't know, I'm still a bit kind of confused about.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Over the whole qualifying campaign, possibly we didn't deserve to qualify, but definitely on the performance last night,
100%.
Just in the game, we did deserve to go through.
Yeah, definitely. When we looked at the group at the start, it was always a case of worst case scenario was third, to be fair.
I think Mick McCarthy has said 100 times that at the start of this campaign, if you handed him a cup final style match, winner takes all in the Viva last night, he would have taken that definitely. But I think we were always going to come third, so we were always going to be guaranteed the playoffs. But looking back on it, I think we did as well as we could and as well as expected.
It's tough to take.
Yeah, I mean, the highlights, well, the Gibraltar and the Georgia matches weren't too great. The Switzerland performance away was really poor. But I guess the highlights would be maybe that goal last night and the McGoldrick's header against Switzerland. But yeah, I say this qualifying campaign has gone as expected.
Yeah. That's it. Like, I think best case scenario is always second place, and worst case was third. So,
thank God for the Nations League.
That's it. So yeah, I'll look forward to the playoffs now in March. It's probably one of the last videos we'll do on Ireland till then, unless some stuff comes up. Yeah, Zucko, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Been a good campaign, and yeah, let us know what you thought of the game and the campaign as well altogether, and let us know your emotions in the comments below. It's been a tough day, tough to let it sink in, but listen, we'll go again in March. Make sure to like the video, guys, share, and most importantly, subscribe.